Hi, everyone, and welcome to The Science of Spirit. I'm your host, Janice Volker. And today I thought that I would read from a Bashar transmission on parallel realities. I think he gives one of the best descriptions I've heard of how dimensions and shifting your reality actually works. Those of you who are not familiar with Bashar, he is an entity channeled through Darryl Anka, who I think is probably one of the best channels around. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and read from that transmission. I think you're going to find this really interesting. Motion and physical reality is really a series, in a sense, of very fast flickers, frozen moments, but at a rate that seems smooth and continuous. But you're only experiencing them to create the experience of physical reality. You can broaden the window of how many flickers that you are capable of seeing or experiencing. So expansion and enlightenment is really the process of stepping up your vibration, stepping up your frequency, so that you'll be able to match more of the beats and get in sync with more of the flickers, thus be able to perceive more of the realities that exist already around you, but right now are invisible to you if you do not vibrate at the rate that is commensurate to your ability to perceive more of those flickers. So, you are stepping up your frequency to be able to perceive more of all that is around you, of what's already right here and right now. In a sense, that's what expansion and consciousness is all about. And that's why you hear over and over again the importance of raising your vibration, raising your frequency. Because as we have said, it is very easy to do when you act on the things that give you the most joy in life, the things that give you the most excitement, because the excitement is your body's physical translation of the highest frequency of your true natural self. And when you stay in sync with that frequency, you are capable of perceiving more things, more levels of the reality all around you. This is what is called inspiration, imagination, creativity. And when you are in that state of unconditional love, you have access to your higher self. You form a stronger relationship with the higher self between the higher mind and the physical mind. This idea that you are shifting constantly gives you the opportunity to understand that it's not about learning how to shift. It's about learning what you would prefer to shift to. Since you are shifting all the time, since shifting, manifestation, and transformation are automatic and immediate, so immediate that you don't even know when you are doing it, so smooth are the flickers that you don't even know what is happening, you are already manifesting reality after reality after reality. This moment is a new reality. This moment is a new reality. This is not a metaphor. You have passed through several billion realities during the course of this transmission. The idea is that you are all agreeing to stay in sync so that you all experience similar parallel realities and a similar continuity in this transmission, even as we are in agreement with you to do so. This is the true power of consciousness. You are so powerful. You have no idea how powerful you are to be able to do this. You are so powerful, you are unaware of how powerful you are. So, the idea is to become more aware that you are doing this, and thus you can utilize what you are doing automatically by nature in a more conscious way, in a more aware way, in order to allow yourself to manifest the specific parallel reality configuration that is more representative of the reality that you say that you prefer. So because you are constantly automatically shifting immediately from parallel reality to parallel reality, the idea is that you don't have to learn how to shift. The idea is to understand that you can make a bigger degree in the difference between one parallel reality and the other is because the only reason you don't know you are shifting is that you keep creating parallel realities that are so similar to the last one that you barely notice the difference. You do notice it because there is such a thing as movement, and movement itself is actually a shifting through parallel realities. If you wish to really see that you are manifesting immediately and automatically, then you have to create a larger degree of difference from one parallel reality to the next. And that's where the true magic of manifestation comes in. When you start to understand that the next parallel reality can be how you want it to be, then you can really start creating new definitions, new configurations that are very different from the reality that you had a moment ago. And you will start seeing things happening that you would describe as miraculous or magical, because that's all miracles are, is a greater shift from one parallel reality to the other in terms of their configuration, so that you can see the difference between them in a much more outstanding way. So, the idea is to feel that you are already traveling through parallel realities with ease. As you begin to allow yourself more opportunity to act on your highest joy, which then makes you a magnet for the kinds of realities, the kinds of definitions that you say you prefer, you will begin to allow yourself, as that attractive antenna and that attractive magnet, to pull to you, in a sense, those configurations of parallel realities that are more in keeping with what you say you are putting out. Because that is the law. What you put out is what you get back. So the idea is to begin in any way, shape, or form that works for you, within your imagination, whether it be through meditation or some sort of activity, to begin to allow yourself to play with this notion that billions of parallel realities are passing through the projection beam of your consciousness every second. For those of you more scientifically minded who want to know what is exactly the rate at which these parallel realities are actually shifting, in fact, your scientists actually already know what the rate is, but they don't actually know what they have labeled as the rate is the actual rate of shifting. They call it Planck time. There is a thing called Planck length, which is very, 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 very small. How small? If you take what you call in your reality an atom, and you wish to measure the diameter of that atom in Planck lengths, so many Planck lengths, and you did it by measuring one Planck length every second, the amount of time it would take you to go from one side of that atom to the other would be 10 million times 14 billion. That's how small a Planck length is. So, Planck time is the amount of time it takes for light to travel one Planck length. So that is a very small increment of time. That is the rate that parallel realities per second are going through you and your consciousness. That's why you don't notice it. It's a very seemingly smooth and unbroken rate of shifting. That is the rate for the entirety of what we call spirit reality and physical reality. It encompasses all dimensions, all realities, all expressions of parallel realities of any kind. Physical reality is not really flickering, or you are not perceiving that many flickers. In physical reality, you are perceiving roughly about 60 flickers per second. That's it. Compared to billions and billions and billions and billions of flickers in that same second that represent all of the rest of creation and reality that you are not perceiving. Obviously, you can expand that window a bit. You will find that even within your physical reality, as you go from what you call third density awareness to fourth density awareness, you will generally find that you will be expanding this rate of ability to perceive the flickers from the average that exists now of about 60 frames per second to an average of about 300 frames per second, with some people capable of attaining about 1,000 frames per second. Still, not a lot compared to billions and billions and billions. Nevertheless, it will allow you to perceive quite a bit more than you are perceiving now. Quite a bit more synchronicity, more miraculous and magical manifestations to automatically occur in your life just with that little bit of a stretch. You will be able to experience quite a bit more. Again, whatever rate you are capable of broadening this window, it is up to you. You don't have to rush. You don't have to push yourselves. Remember, everything is now, so in a sense, you have all the time in creation, so no rush. So, did you get all of that? A lot of information in a really small amount of time. Now, once again, this information may or may not resonate with you. To me, it makes a lot of sense. It's a little bit of a brain twister at first, but the idea that each reality is one frame is kind of interesting. Plus, if you look at things in that way, you can realize how easy it really is to change things to what you want it to be. It takes away that it's supposed to be this way or it's deemed to be that way, when it's really what you're putting out there every moment is what you are getting back, and that there are multiple realities of yourself in various situations. So it's whatever one you want to vibrate with is the one you get. So that's where, if you really let your imagination go and really get into the feeling behind whatever it is you want to create, emphasis on the feeling of what you want to create, that's what gets you into that vibration to get you into the reality where you want to be. So then Bashar goes into some questions from the audience. And the first audience member wanted to know more about the speed of light, and this is the answer that was given. The speed of light, or what you call the speed of light, is literally the vibrational barrier of your third dimensional reality. What you're actually describing is more like a fabric than something that actually has a rate. Thus, then, the idea of the rate of flicker going from parallel reality to parallel reality, in the way that we have described, is really the way to express what you're talking about. But in terms of its absolute rate, since it is the defining barrier or border of physical reality, it doesn't change relative to any other motion within that reality. Relative to fourth density, would it be moving at a different rate? Answer, yes. Question, and what would that rate be in relation to third density? Answer, it can be anywhere from many thousands of times faster to many millions of times faster. It depends upon where you are in the idea of the higher reality levels. So as you move to a higher density, light speeds up? Answer, well, in a sense. What we're talking about is a euphemistic analogy. The idea is that you simply become more aware of more that already exists, because in a sense, what you typically call light is simply an effect, a side effect. You're only seeing a part of what we call light. What you call light is only a part of something bigger. So you perceive more of that bigger energy, more of that bigger frequency, that bigger consciousness. And then you can experience the idea of instantaneity, where there is no time at all, where there is what you call infinite speed on certain levels of dimensionality and awareness, but it's not exactly traveling in the same way that you understand light to travel in your reality. That's just an illusionary side effect. Therefore, it's a little difficult to talk about these things in the same context because they are not really related in the same way. Question. So in a sense, you're accelerating your vibration to where your vibration is fast enough to sense other vibrations? Answer, yes. And to go beyond the idea of the light speed barrier into something that would be interpreted as traveling faster, but you're not actually traveling faster. You are simply going through parallel realities in perception at a different rate, because none of you actually travel. Nobody actually goes anywhere. There is only the here and now. So even the idea of light traveling is not really traveling. That's just an illusion of space-time reality that it actually travels or that you actually move in space. Space, to be more precise, is actually moving through you. So then the next person asks the question, so it seems like we're in a choose-your-own-adventure reality show. Would that be right? Answer, yes. As you would say, the paradox in terms of discussing to tuning into the reality that I prefer. As you know, there's a lot of dysfunction on this planet. Answer, yes, we know. Question, on the one hand, I feel compelled to want to get involved and help change it. I could just tune my frequency into the reality, and where I end up, that reality is holistic and working. Answer, that's what happens anyway. Both of them are the same thing. One is not exclusive of the other. You help, again, in your language, change things on your world by being an example, by acting as an example, energetically, vibrationally, of the world you prefer, and shifting yourself to the parallel reality already represented by the vibration you prefer. Because in the process of shifting, you act as an example to others, so that they can also choose to make that kind of a shift as well. And that's how you help change the world. Even though you're not actually, literally changing anything in that parallel reality, you are simply shifting to another one, and that reality is still exactly the way it was. Because all realities exist simultaneously. So the paradox is you help change the world you're in by actually shifting in the best possible way to another reality that is more representative of the world you prefer. Question. A part of me wants to get more hands-on involved. Answer. Well, by all means do. Hands-on involvement is the action we're talking about. You have to take physical action. You are experiencing a physical reality, and that's what we mean by the idea of acting as an example. If you really believe in a particular vibrational reality, then your actions will actually exemplify those things by example. It has to be grounded in physical reality. Otherwise, it is just a mental exercise. You're not completing the circuit. It has to be body, mind, and spirit, not just mind. Therefore, by taking an action, you are crystallizing the energy of your intention to really radiate in the strongest possible way the vibration of the reality you prefer. Because if you were in that reality, you would be doing whatever it is. You would be physically acting in whatever way gave you joy, as you say that you are compelled to act. As long as you are doing it in alignment with your true self, with integrity, without expectation, then you were acting as an example. And by those actions, by helping, you are thus really anchoring that vibration in that reality as an example for others who can then make the choice to mimic you or mirror you or not. So I think Bashar covered that pretty well in that transmission. He went about as deep as you could go with how the whole process works. I guess the way that I intend to look at this is that your frequency, it's almost like a buzzing. You're buzzing at a certain frequency, and then that suddenly shifts you to another reality. Instead of actually going somewhere, it's just you're in place. You sort of buzz into another reality or buzz out of another one. Kind of an odd way of looking at it, but that's kind of the way I'm kind of taking it. So I hope this was interesting, and if you like this, I will read some more from some Bashar transmissions, because I think he's really quite a good educator for people, and he goes into great detail on many different things. So I think that his information is very important. So if you're listening to this on YouTube, leave a comment below. I'd be curious to see what you all have to say about this. And be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see what I can do about putting up more Bashar information. So once again, this is Janice from The Science of Spirit. Take care.